Yo, what is going on, everybody? It is Brave Cat here once again with another Frontier Signals update, and it's the 8th of February 2026, and there's definitely some pretty cool stuff here to cover, as well as potentially something to be worried about. Now, when I say worried about, I just mean like, holy snap, what the balls kind of thing. So I'm just going to jump right into that. Because I feel like this is, well, as soon as I looked at this, I was like, wait a minute, something's fucky. Anyways, wow. So, basically, I looked at this, and so, okay, we had a 5.5 earlier, which I saw. I was like, okay. And I was doing some research on the beach ball diagram. This thing right here, the moment tensor thingamajig. Because, I had some kind of preconceived, I guess, guesses, really, I was making at, what this represented based on just like a little bit of research. But then I quickly realized that I had a lot more digging to do. I mean, this is something that's pretty hard science. I mean, this is what seismologists use as a diagram to look at the plate boundary, fault zone, and exactly what kind of movement occurred at the location. So I'm gonna have a kind of deeper video going on that here at some point, hopefully soon, because this definitely gives a good idea as to what is exactly happening with earthquakes and the movement between the plates themselves. But regardless of that, I noticed these two pretty big swarms. Now, Puerto Rico has been swarming / like, the Virgin Islands is what these earthquakes are at. And so, this really kind of came out of nowhere. We can even go to this right here is like the last, not even the last 6 hours of activity. So this is incredibly fresh. And we just have over here what seems to be a pretty monstrous swarm. Every single one of these is pretty much a 3 or greater. So I've got a 3.9 right here. So that's definitely pretty significant. And again, I'm just gonna really quick take a look at the details here. Okay, that looks pretty legit. There's not that many data points here, but it is a location that's technically outside of the U.S. And it's also a bunch of islands. So I'd imagine there's not really that many facilities or seismographs or whatever takes those readings. So that looks legit for what it is. It's a pretty big stack of 3s. And then over here on the west coast, not as big activity, but still there's a swarm with a few 3s kind of scattered in the mix. And then with that being said, I'm just going to take away the tremor list so that we can actually drag this out a little bit. So there was the previous swarm, which was to the south, kind of southeast, like more kind of central in the San Francisco Bay area. Now this newer swarm, which is where these 3s are, including all the tremors, is kind of northwest. So this seems to be a pretty significant progression in the plate movement itself, and then we even have some more activity here in Texas. And then this new 5.7. So okay, we had the 5.5, there's a 5.7 previously, there was a 4.6 up here, and then we had all the pressure coming in from over here, as well as even down here, same kind of level activity. So this is kind of where I mean, this is kind of where things just kind of line up, and you can kind of clearly see some of the progression on here by kind of studying how these progress, especially using Dutch census methods, which again, this overlay map is from him. So, I think we can definitely tell that there's quite a rapid uptick all of a sudden out of all these areas, even globally all of a sudden. If we just kind of scale this down a little bit here, we've still had things pushing out here, similar range, upper 4s, and then even going into China over here. And then even in Europe, we even have 4s, upper 4s, going into 5 level activity sprouting up over here. So, I mean, just kind of looking at this, giving my best guess here, again, we're going to try to look for the midpoints between earthquakes. So we could even see, again, kind of using Dutch's forecasting method that I'm not at all really good at right now, but we look right in between all of these sets of earthquakes, and we could expect the middle point to get hit. So I don't know if it'll be maybe closer to the actual plate boundary, or it might even actually be part of this plate boundary that gets hit. And then of course, like whatever's going on here, definitely a lot of movement happening. So just kind of keep track of that. But there's still some other things here I want to go through. We only had a few minor flares, so there was like 3 to possibly 4 M-class flares. Pretty much nothing in comparison to what we've dealt with in the past. But here's the significant thing I'll cover here, which, being as late in the day as it is, I do have some pretty updated screenshots for the sunspots. So we can take a look at it here. We can just barely see peeking from the edge. This looks to be the sunspot group that caused the recent far side eruptions, the actual CMEs that have erupted on the opposite side of the sun, and now those are finally coming over, so we can kind of start to, I don't know, take some guesses at how big it is. So we kind of compare it with what we see over here. Imagine this right side here seems to be kind of what we're looking at over here, to a degree. Not as large, but we already have some magnetic complexity here with the blue and the red. So this is definitely going to be a sunspot group to be looking at for the coming several days to, I don't know, the next 1 to 2 weeks, however long it takes for it to fully go across. So that's really kind of the next level, frontier level stuff. Especially looking at this one, we can literally see the bright active regions on the oncoming limb. So it looks like there actually could be something just slightly south of this as well that has yet to appear. So we got bright active regions on the oncoming limb, fairly significant, but currently, there's not a whole lot going on. I noticed this interesting black streak, and then it's weird. It's like, it's kind of a plasma filament, but it has the same kind of color coding as the coronal hole. So I don't know, I just thought that looked kind of interesting. But other than that, there's one other thing that I majorly want to at least kind of reference here, which is this map, book of maps, by Charles Hapgood. So he definitely was, kind of key player in the whole global catastrophism kind of theories and ancient history. And this book definitely seems to have a lot of different things in here that could be very relevant to unlocking the truth of our own history, as well as, potentials for the near future. So I'm going to scroll over here to roughly page 69, where he references some of the Antarctic maps from centuries ago. Like, I think this is like the 1500s. And so, yeah, kind of once I saw this, I was like, just really soaking it all in. So this is the map itself. We see Antarctica here is called Terra Australis, and well, it has some mountain ranges, and then from the descriptions here, so it starts on this page and then it continues over here. So he's basically talking about, the mountain ranges and possible topography, kind of linking to some sort of erosion, and the possibility, well, the high likelihood that there was actually dry land down here in Antarctica. And, well, I mean, the kind of main theory, kind of conspiracy side of things is that even when it comes to modern day Antarctica, there could be, well, again, mountain ranges and possible dry land down there that, well, simply put, the powers that be don't want us to know about. And there was actually something I'm going to try to find right now, which is a supposed live stream that somebody in Antarctica tried to basically do, and, well, it turns out there's actually extremely strict rules in Antarctica revolving internet usage and all that. So as soon as the guy started live streaming, he basically got confronted and got all his shit confiscated and was like, nope, yeah, you cannot live stream or do any filming down here. What are you doing? So I'm going to try to find that really quick. Alright, so I was able to find it, so I'm just going to play this clip.
Hello.
How's it going?
Not that good. So you have a Starlink.
Yeah.
Okay, it's confiscated. You will receive it on the way back.
You can't use it on the land?
Say again?
Can't use it on the land?
No.
Okay. They checked it in biosecurity yesterday and they didn't have a problem with it going on, but you're the captain, so it's all yours.
Okay. You will receive it in the end of the trip. Okay.
Okay, cool.
It's not such devices. They are not anything that is related to the internet connection. Cyber security is completely forbidden.
Really? So no one's allowed to have a Starlink?
No, not even a single piece of internet.
Really? On land?
That is not secure. No.
Is that for like all of it? I'm just asking questions. I'm not arguing with you. For all of Antarctica?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. For all, it's available for all ships. It's not only this ship, all the ships around, and especially this one. We have cyber security. We have forces to follow. Unfortunately, we cannot let you.
Right, bring it on land.
Yeah.
And that's for every ship in Antarctica?
Yeah, for everybody.
Okay.
But our procedures, they are very strict, and such devices, they are not allowed, unfortunately.
Yeah, no. That's fine. Thank you for informing us. I apologize if there was any issue. I just didn't see any problem with it like online when I was.
Yeah, so that's something that has come out in the past couple days. Well, really like yesterday, it seems. So, I mean, again, like the more people really dive into these things and the more time goes on, the more clear it seems that there's something interesting going on down here in Antarctica. And, well, I mean, there's plenty of other cool looking maps, ancient maps in here. And so I also, find that as to be another kind of avenue to go here, at least in the ancient history section, to possibly reference that and kind of do more deep dives into that. So that was a pretty major development. I'll have the link down below for the free version of this book, which you can literally just read on archive.org. Sometimes some of the books on here will require you to essentially check out the book for a limited time, and only one person can do that at a time. But this one is totally free to view for any amount of people at any time. So, you know, it's just right there in the open. But as you can see, you know, not that many people generally go here. So it's pretty low key, but I think it has quite a lot of good stuff in there. So, okay, going back to the earthquakes here, kind of jumping back to that because there's the real-time tremor map. Let me just refresh the page, first of all. And, well, would you look at that? Now, see, this swarm here, let me just turn this feedback on, wouldn't really look as suspicious or potentially alarming. I mean, it is a pretty big swarm. Again, this is like not even the last 6 hours of activity that we have in 2 locations here on the same kind of plate boundary, basically. And then, okay, what was this here before? I mean, that seems pretty darn new as well. So yeah, we've literally had fresh 5.0 activity on pretty much the entire plate, stretching all the way down to South America. And then we have these 2 tremor swarms going on. And again, what makes it a little bit more suspicious here is the fact that this real-time tremor map has not even updated. And again, it's pretty late. There's no way this would not be updated for the day. So yeah, you know, it's kind of BS. Now, if there really truly is no events on here populated, and it's not some sort of fluke, then well, that just makes it even more suspicious that, again, looking for larger activity to strike here. And then again, looking at even the midpoint of these 2 swarms, we have a swarm really breaking out. Texas, you know, West Texas, Central Texas, and then going up here into Oklahoma. So it's not just 1 or 2 things, it's like this entire area is basically moving at the same time. And then again, with the volcanoes, there's been activity at the same volcanoes here in Guatemala. So those are still going off. So yeah, there's just a lot of things happening geologically here, especially compared to the West Pacific. I mean, this is where we usually see the vast majority of stuff happening, and there is still lots of earthquakes here. We got another 5.9, which I'd be willing to bet this is probably should be categorized as a 6. Well, would you look at that? No station details contributed. How convenient is that? And this one says 5.7. It's like, okay, I mean, that seems fair enough. But again, I don't really see the reason to have this little notice here. I just think that's ridiculous. So who knows what's really going on there. But again, similar sized activity rippling throughout the entire, well, really the entire planet right now, actually. Things did take a step down yesterday, but then it was like, hold up, wait a second, hold my beer. And wow, I didn't even notice this. Is this actually... So, okay. Seems like just before the major swarm started over there, you know, there was a tremor swarm here in Hawaii. So, again, that kind of favors the arrows here, pointing towards the transfer of the pressure. So it literally, some of that pressure came straight across the Pacific. And now, well, this kind of area here seems to be kind of basically being T-boned by seismic waves from the northwest and from the west. And then with these significant earthquakes down here, the energy is just bouncing all over the place. Again, high level 5s going on here. So nothing small. Definitely, if any of this builds up into the 6 to 7.0 range and it strikes on land anywhere that's populated, that can easily cause a lot of damage and even deaths. And then trying to take it up a step further, if any of this results in a megaquake, well, I mean, that's just completely devastating. But yeah, this, I mean, especially, it's late at night. Dutch hasn't, as far as I know, talked about this yet. I added him on X, and then I try to look for his Twitch. But there is another resource that I'd be willing to share, at least just in this video, and that is 0 Point Energy. They're not affiliated with Dutch Sense, and they've tried re-uploading some of their stuff in the past, but he doesn't like that. So instead, they are posting these posts, basically kind of going over things that Dutch Sense talks about in a lot of his live streams. Because again, he doesn't really post videos that much unless there's something major happening, or just sometimes, when he feels like it, I guess. So if we do see a video from Dutch here soon, hopefully tomorrow, then that'll kind of confirm my suspicions. But again, this is just another little resource that I use to try to, well, basically stay one step ahead of the game, without missing anything, really, because, again, it's really hard to catch that dude when he's live sometimes. So, wow. Yeah, that was quite a lot of stuff to cover, pretty much. And I'll probably just kind of leave it off there. Wasn't able to get really any work done on this. Just had some other things going on. But, this is never going to stop until it's done. So anyways, though, hope you all enjoyed this one, and I'll catch you all in the next.